So Ghostbusters Frozen Empire just came out. It is the fifth installment into the Ghostbusters franchise, and ironically, it comes out on the 40th anniversary of the first Ghostbusters film. Nostalgic. Very nostalgic. So Ghostbusters Frozen Empire is actually the sequel to the 2021 Ghostbusters Afterlife. It takes place actually 2 years after the events in that film, and the main cast from that film move away from Oklahoma all the way to the iconic city of New York in the original firehouse to team up with the veteran Ghostbusters to take down a new foe that is literally terrifying their victims till they are frozen solid. Give them top marks for some kind of creativity. That's a new one that I haven't seen in Ghostbusters. Let's of course start with the good here from this film, because honestly, when I went into the theater, I wasn't actually expecting much expectations. Well, I didn't have high expectations. I didn't even have high expectations for Afterlife, and it kind of shocked me being a good movie. Although Ghostbusters Frozen Empire kind of fell short of what Afterlife did, it did have some good moments here. Start with, of course, the CGI. Special effects is something Ghostbusters has always shined at. I mean, that's at least something that you can always expect good from when it comes to Ghostbusters. And also, there was a good chemistry here when it came to horror and comedy. I mean, they did have a good balance here and there. There were moments where you could say, like, oh, that's some true Ghostbusters humor right there. So, that's something definitely you can expect in this film. When it comes to characters here, the two that really shine more than anything were McKenna Grace and Dan Aykroyd, of course, because when these two actually showed up to work, I felt like when they're both actually working and trying to stop this evil, this actually felt like this is something that I would expect from Ghostbusters. This is Ghostbusters right here. You can keep these two in here, you'll have a great Ghostbusters film. The reason why I say that Dan Aykroyd and McKenna Grace are the only ones that came to work is because other than those two, there is literally no character development for any of the other characters. And literally probably the reason why is because there's just too many. There are too many characters in this film. I mean, they're bringing all the characters from Afterlife, which included, of course, some of the veterans that didn't get much screen time in Afterlife. I'm talking about Dan Aykroyd, Bill Murray, and the others that you know of. But they're also, since they're going back to New York, they're bringing in a bunch of the older characters, too, into this ensemble as well. That's just too many characters. Way too many characters. I mean, I like a lot of great characters in a film, but not at the expense of disappointing character development. Because, I mean, with bad character development, I'm just lose interest completely in a movie. I mean, there were even some characters that were from Afterlife that were important characters that really got pushed to the side. Finn Wolfhard's character got pushed to the side. He was an important character, if I recall, in Afterlife. I haven't seen it in a couple of years, so might be a little bit forgetful when it comes to that movie. But, I mean, he's Egon's relative. You would expect him to have a big role, but honestly, I hardly knew he was there. That's how little I noticed his appearance in this film. Let me tell you who really didn't want to be there, and that was Bill Murray. Bill Murray is my favorite Ghostbuster, but I mean, it's obvious he did not want to be there or probably even take part in this franchise anymore. He's been doing it for 40 years, but he didn't even want to make another Ghostbusters after Ghostbusters 2. So, I mean, he's pretty much done with the franchise. He obviously didn't care, but, you know, they needed him for this 40-year anniversary and, you know, to give it that nostalgia feel. So they probably said they'll pay him whatever he wants as long as he jumps back in the suit and wears the photon pack for a few days. And I'm pretty sure he did, because he was there to collect. And I'm pretty sure he's done with Ghostbusters after this film. And I don't blame him. I don't blame him at all with the direction they're planning on going with this franchise. To be completely honest, like I said before, I wasn't expecting a lot from this film, but when it came to Ghostbusters Afterlife, there was the start of a family dynamic there, and it was slowly building up, and it was like, that's the start. So I was expecting here in this one, I was expecting to see an improvement in that dynamic. And of course, the family dynamic is there. It's speckled in certain spots of the film, but they just have so much more going on in this film, like too much for this film to handle, especially for the runtime they have, not even 2 hours, that the family dynamic is just lost. it's lost to the overwhelming info that you get in this film. Honestly, this movie is just like pure nostalgia porn, if that's the term I want to use. Because everything else, like when it comes to getting views, it's just like, this is a charity porn, or this is this kind of porn. So I'm going with this is nothing more than nostalgia porn, because there's nothing more than just nostalgic moments, nostalgic characters everywhere bunched together in this film. But the thing is, it would have been nice if they kind of gave us more of a surprise and not just like forced them into a scene. It's like it's obvious, that they're coming, especially with the Marshmallow Man. I don't know why they were babies. Maybe because it was maybe babies are the thing now. I mean, we already got Baby Groot and Baby Yoda, so why not Baby Marshmallow Man? Maybe he'll be a top trending topic soon. Did I go into the pacing yet? I really need to, because it is terrible. Not only was the first act nothing more than just a slow slugfest, and act 2 was nothing more than just forced comedy, this pacing didn't seem to follow a narrow path at all. Usually movies seem to break out and then eventually will move back up to the path. This movie didn't do that. It started from point A and then went to a bunch of different points by the end of the movie. It never stayed on a straight path. It never even branched out and then went back to the straight path. It just went everywhere. I'm like, pick a point already. This movie had some good moments, but overall, it was just horrendous. That's why I'm giving Ghostbusters Frozen Empire a D-. If you're going to continue a franchise like this, at least come up with a solid original idea. Show some creativity. Don't make a bunch of B-roll and slap it together and call that your movie just because you can't come up with a good idea. Please. I see enough of that in Hollywood now. Alright, well that just about wraps up this review. If you guys have seen Ghostbusters Frozen Empire, please comment here down below what your thoughts were on it. Also, if you like my other videos, don't forget to like and subscribe. See you guys next time, and remember, stay epic!